Here we go. We're up and running. Here we go. Nice. Okay. Here we go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is working way too well. I didn't expect this to come off like this. All right, let's get to some of the new stuff first, and then we're going to get on with our guest here. It's a good conversation today. I don't usually debate a lot on this show, but we got one. Got a live one today. A friend of mine, Libertarian, named Liebowitz, Mike Liebowitz. You may know him if you listen to the Connecticut show. Libro's a autodidact and an ex-con. That's where he learned all his philosophy. And well-read guy and a great guy. And I knew that this conversation would be one where we would have differences because he comes from a different school of thought. And so it's good, too. It's good for me to flesh out where I am on things compared to other people because we just don't do that enough. And, Alice and I talk about it, but I don't talk about it enough. Some things, Chris, before we get to that, Chris Murphy is in deep kimchi because somebody said that the Iranian boats were like escaping our blockade, and he retweeted and said, awesome, because obviously he wants the Iranians to like win the war or whatever. He's just a peace, total peace. But so that's what's going on there, and he's just a total peace. They caught him in Congress today and asked him about it. And he's saying, "Oh, it's sarcasm."
Twitter's become kind of a cesspool. I probably should give up on sarcasm on Twitter. Obviously, anybody that's seen anything that I have said about Trump's war knows that I think it's bungled, mismanaged, and he should end it as quickly as possible, but sarcasm is not something, I guess, that's allowed on Twitter any longer.
Do you regret the post? Are you planning on taking it down, or are you going to keep it up?
I guess I just have to be more careful about sarcasm on...
Yeah, you don't take it down, but it means he's a piece. I mean, obviously, he's not really great at politics. He's a thug and a punk, and so, sometimes you just say what you mean, and he meant to say that, and now he's busted, and that's just fine. Here's Trey Yingson, the Fox guys, talking about it.
Hey, Trey, could you give me an idea? Are we letting ships through? Because we're seeing different reports. First, nobody's getting through. Then we boarded a ship that tried to get through. Do you have any reporting that talks about what's really happening in the Strait?
Yeah, the United States is allowing any vessels who are passing through this area to make their way to their final destination as long as they're not coming from Iranian ports. There were some reports overnight indicating that 26 vessels from Iran's shadow fleet were able to make it past the U.S. blockade. There is no evidence of that, and despite what one Democratic senator talked about, there is a concerted effort by the United States to ensure that any vessels that are coming from Iranian ports are turned around or seized, as we saw with that one cargo ship over the weekend.
So, Trey, that was just Iranian propaganda, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the shadow fleet that the senator is talking about is used to directly fund Iranian proxies across the Middle East, including Hamas, the Houthis, and Hezbollah, who are directly responsible for killing U.S. citizens. And so the shadow fleet is a very serious problem. It is not getting past the U.S. blockade, according to all reports and information that we have from the region. But it is a very serious issue that the U.S. Navy says they will crack down.
So Chris Murphy happy to be part of the Iranian propaganda machine. And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? It's a piece. Kamala Harris, once again, just shows that maybe perhaps we need to rethink the right of women to vote or be in politics. I say that mostly tongue-in-cheek. But, I mean, this lady is freaking terrible. She's like the front runner, too. Listen to this.
I think it's okay for us to be a bit transactional, too. And to say, I'm going to get mine also.
Yes, she said it. It sounded just like that.
And to say, I'm going to get mine also. And so don't count on me to be a voter and be the backbone of the Democratic Party, because it is my value system and my ethics.
I'm gonna get mine also. Okay. That's great. It's probably this whole running thing that we're doing here, where don't count on me, you're taking advantage of black women and don't count on us, and we're tired. It's not the time. It's not the time. I'm sorry. It's just simply not. Some other time. It's been a rough few years. Okay. And I had one more I wanted to go to. Oh, there's there's audio there's video of Mom Dom and me breaking into or inspecting apartments in New York. Is freaking creepy and third worldly in socialist, but I'm going to spare you. But here's, this just came up today. This is actually like from last year. But this is Anna Navarro with, who's the guy's name? Brad, whatever.
Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
Because that is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a
racist.
Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
It's incredible to dismiss my opinion for being a white man.
No, I'm not dismissing your opinion. I am telling you that what the Latino community, the brown community in America.
Speak in one voice.
Okay, well, let me speak with my voice. I mean, you said I was being hyperbolic. Let me respond.
Racially, sure.
I'm not. You being a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it to dismiss my
being
opinion,
a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it,
do you think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people may not be right now in this country?
We're about to have a whole conversation about that very thing. But I just want to make a point that, Brad, all she's saying is that her view of the situation is different from yours. I don't think that's an insult.
She basically said, I'm wrong because I'm a white man.
She just said, I see it differently.
She said,
I see it differently from you, which is not an insult. It's not.
That's Abby Phillip getting it absolutely wrong. She's another small brain, of course. She's saying, no. She says that you have to respect everybody based on their identity, respect their opinion based on their identity. So now she has the floor. You're not allowed to engage her because she's a brown woman and a Latino, and so everybody, whatever. And Brad Palumbo, although he's gay, so he's allowed to have a certain truth to whatever. These people are all gross. Let's get to my interview with my friend Liebowitz, Mike Liebowitz. It is. I think you'll enjoy it. You probably think a few points here I missed. This is kind of a sparring conversation. Some points I missed, some points I didn't miss, but I think it speaks for itself. I am thrilled to revisit my old friend, Michael Liebowitz. We talked to him on the Shot of Shattuck show, I guess, about a year ago. He is a published author, host of The Rational Egoist, co-host of The Capitalist Corner, and now I know that you're part of a different political party, but you would call yourself essentially a libertarian still, Michael? Does that make sense?
For simplicity's sake, I dropped the label because it describes less and less. Obviously I was in prison, but when I got out of prison and I started to see the views of some people that call themselves libertarians, I decided, no, I don't want to be associated with them.
Yeah.
But broadly speaking, limited government, individual rights, constitutionalism, that's me.
Okay, yeah, then that makes sense, and I understand that too. I am a Republican now, but I in no means am a defender of that brand, and I am oftentimes embarrassed by them. And I don't even know now more than ever. I guess we'll get into it. I don't even know what is that, and where is conservatism? So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
I've wanted to talk to you for a while here because you are a unique thinker, and mostly I interact with either conservatives, MAGA types, or never Trumpers, or Democrats who just hate Trump, and these are the people who blow whistles at ICE and think Trump's a Nazi. So it's the three same cohorts that I've been talking to, but as somebody a constitutionalist. Okay, the reason I mentioned this is this morning I was listening to the Dispatch podcast. The Dispatch podcast is with Steve Hayes, who was with the Weekly Standard, Jonah Goldberg, who was with the National Review, and some other guys, a smattering of other. These are Beltway Republican conservatives who are now never Trumpers. They are offended They are mad that they're no longer considered the conventional wisdom or really the intelligentsia of the Republican Party. And I listened to them for an hour tell me in 86 different ways why Trump sucked so much in a new way. And it was the worst wartime president, the worst peacetime president, the worst energy president, the worst this, that. From where you are, what is your snapshot takeaway from where the Trump presidency is right now?
Okay, I think I should give you a little background on my view of Trump. So although I consider myself a constitutionalist, I'm very pro-capitalism. So there's really nobody that I could support that embodies my views. So I used to pick the closest. So I supported George W. Bush. I supported John McCain. I supported Romney.
Same.
Even though I disagreed with them on a lot of issues, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, Barack Obama, I can't stand them.
Yep.
So come 2015, I supported Rand Paul in the primary. Once it became clear Rand Paul was not going to win, I supported Ted Cruz because he and I at least shared the Constitution.
Yeah.
As originally meant at the time of the drafting of the main body and then of the amendment, so I at least knew where he was coming from. I never liked Trump. I couldn't stand him. I thought he was a grifter from the get-go. I would have supported any other of, I think it was 16 Republicans ran against him.
Sure.
I would have supported any of them. I would not support Trump.
So did you not like Trump even as from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, because of that personality, the New York jerk personality?
I didn't know, I didn't follow his politics and I didn't know much about him I used to watch The Apprentice. I liked the show. It was entertaining. You know what I mean? But
sure.
Politically, I disagreed with a lot of his views. Mostly, for instance, he said he would never roll back the entitlement state. That was one of the things that he said during the first go around. He said he believed in government-provided health care, and he said he was against abortion. And so my views on abortion have evolved. I used to be what would be considered pro-life. Now I'm pro-choice. I still don't think it's a constitutional right, so I think that Roe was decided wrongly. So I disagreed with him on those things. Tariffs, I disagreed with him.
Ask you? You said he said he'd never roll back entitlements. Did you not want him to roll back entitlements?
No, I want entitlements gone.
Right, of course. Okay.
I would get rid of all of them.
But isn't rolling back progress towards making them gone?
No. He said he would never roll them back. He said no cuts to entitlements his first time around.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes, that's right. He lied.
Right. And I disagreed with that.
Yes.
So then in his first presidency, and now the character stuff I can't stand. And so with the conservatives, all my life, conservatives said that they were constitutional originalists, that character mattered, they were pro-free trade, and they were broadly interventionists on foreign policy. After the Iraq War, I used to be an interventionist. I actually liked Trump's non-interventionist stance. That's one of the things I agreed with him when he was running.
Yes.
But tariffs, I was opposed to. He said during his first presidency, take the guns, then give due process. He signed the ban on bump stocks. Yeah. He supported lockdowns initially during COVID, which I did not. And then he kept arguing for payments out to the population, direct payments. These were things that conservatives used to oppose. This was talking like a liberal to me. And all of a sudden, the people that I used to go to for information and for a defense of things like the Constitution and capitalism were now in support of tariffs. We're now, even Glenn Beck now says he's in support of tariffs.
Yeah.
Now the Constitution kind of, it doesn't really matter. They didn't say that explicitly, but that's what was happening. And so when you're talking about Jonah Goldberg or George Will, for instance, or a guy that mentored me when I was in prison, Bill Buckley, this is not it. MAGA is not that. And I just wish if you're going to go away from that, then go away from it. But on the one hand, MAGA advocates these things, but then claims that it's defending the Constitution, defending free markets, and is defending conservatism. And it's just not that. That's just not the case.
No, I don't think I can argue really with any of it. There is no clear principled ideology other than what is in Trump's id-ego mind. And I think that's probably built on a belief, a structure somewhere, but it is certainly not Reagan conservatism. He is
no.
And you're right. Like, people like Beck have gone with him, and they've ceded the ground that they were on, and in a way that has shown them to be intellectually dishonest, or exposed them to either be squishes, corrupted, bullied, or just sellouts of one kind or another, and which is and I understand that. You know, if somebody offered me a price to change my opinions, it hasn't happened yet. But depending on the number, Michael, I may have to take some time to think about it. But
so it's funny you say that, because a prominent podcaster, I'm not going to name him, but he said to me, "Listen, this is what you need to do." I said, "No." And I said, "I'm not going to sell my integrity for ratings." He said, "But if you sell your integrity now, just go against it a little bit. Then you can talk about the stuff you want to later on." The problem with that is when you do that, the audience you build now expects it.
Oh, yes,
and I just think of Sean Hannity says he's no longer a Catholic.
Does he say that?
Because the Pope criticized the Iran war. And a lot of these conservatives are saying the Pope needs to stay out of politics. Were they saying that when the Pope criticized gay marriage or criticizes abortion? Did they say the Pope needs to stay out of politics? Yeah. I'm not Catholic. I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
But giving up your religion over Trump just seems crazy to me.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, it should be the moral backstop of your entire worldview, your religion, if you've got that. Now, I think that you're right. If you look at first of all, as far as the MAGA people who have just switched and changed their spots, some of them I think have fallen for him. And I don't want to use the word cult because I think it's a slur on people. I think a lot of people are stirred up in the energy of Trump and the boldness of Trump's. He's a guy who does stuff, and are willing to look the other way as far as all the conservative principles they were talking about. And they've got really an emotional allegiance. I know a lot of people who feel that Trump is, and I've got some of this as well, but feel that Trump is fighting for them, that he's unstoppable, that he's trying to turn over the establishment, that, he got shot at for trying to do it. They tried to destroy his life, and I get, and I get that energy. And like, for me personally, this last election, he had to win and be and have the pitchfork at that establishment because it tried to destroy his life. And there was some kind of synergy in there. Maybe it's romanticism. It's not really. It's it is. It's flighty. It's not really based that much on policy. But I was like, fuck it. This is screw those people. All the establishment people, all these institutions are corrupted anyway, the CDC and all these other things. Let's put this guy in with his whack pack of, cabinet people and see what happens. So there's some of that. But I'm also, at the end of the day, a lot of stuff works out for Trump. Like, what he did on the border here, I think is fantastic. Now, I'm assuming you're a little bit different on immigration, but I'm for shutting the border and tossing all these illegals out. I'm absolutely for it. It's in the law. So I like it. I want him tossed. He closed the border. They said he couldn't. He did it, and good. That's a thing that he said he was going to do, and he's done it. And I have no problem with ICE going around and grabbing illegals. And this is law enforcement. I'm pro law enforcement. I think this is all good stuff. So there are some big things that this guy, though highly unorthodox, he has done a lot of things that we were all told could never be done.
Okay. I want to give you, there's a lot that I want to try to weave here.
Yeah.
To use a Trump term. And I'm going to tell you a little story about myself. I once did 3 months in jail. And when I got out, I said to myself, I am going to keep my nose clean. That's it. I got to. I don't want to end up in prison. Not going to sell drugs, nothing. One day I needed a little bit of money. A guy comes to me and says, hey, listen, can you go get me some Coke? I'll give you a little bit of money. I said, yeah, why not? I make $20. I'll go have money for the night. So I did it. Then I did it again. And then I said, well, Jesus, if I'm going to be doing that, I might as well just have the Coke on me and I can sell the Coke to whoever comes. Then I said, if I'm going to sell the Coke, I might as well sell heroin too. Mm-hmm. And then I said, well, if I'm going to be selling the drugs, I need a gun because people will rob me. Next thing I know, I'm fully out there selling drugs, handgun in my belt. This is what I'm doing. What I never would have accepted all at once, I accepted in increments. Mm-hmm. Now back up to Trump. People hate the left. Legitimately hate the left.
Yes.
So Trump fights the left. So I'll defend Trump, not me. I'm just, this is the mindset, fighting the left. So you'll defend some things. And eventually you end up defending things that you never would have defended at the beginning because it took place slowly. This, the slippery slope that we talk about.
The boiling frog,
Right. And now on immigration, conservatives have been consistent. This isn't an area where they've gone awry, right? So you say, well, I like the fact that he wants to close the border. I have constitutional arguments against that, but conservatives in general have been for it, so I don't think it's an inconsistency.
Right.
But would conservatives have authorized militarizing the streets like Trump did, sending in the Guard? Or invoking, for instance, the Alien and Sedition Acts, the Alien Enemy Acts that he invoked at the beginning? Clearly not the emergency he was claiming it was, in terms of Maduro sending in drug dealers and Tren de Aragua's part of the Venezuelan government. Conservatives would have never went for that in the past.
I mean, we took out Noriega. I mean, we've taken out people that, when our guys go sideways, we've taken them out before.
Well, hold on. The difference is, first of all, Panama declared war on the United States.
They did?
That's the first thing. Yeah, under Noriega. Also, Noriega was actually involved in the drug dealing with the connections. Maduro was not. I mean, I know Trump says it, but it's just not accurate. He wasn't bellied up with Tren de Aragua like he claimed. So conservatives end up buying things. Then the tariff stuff. He frames it in terms of we're being ripped off.
Well, hold on. I don't think. Let's go back to Maduro. My feeling on Maduro is he's just a dirtbag, and I don't care. And I know that that shows maybe a shallowness of thought, certainly, or maybe laziness of thought. But he's a dirtbag. He's a pain in the ass. He is not clean by any measure.
No.
Nobody who we're going to install is going to be clean, probably anywhere in the world. But if we're shooting boats full of drug dealers, or mostly drug dealers, or possibly fishermen who we think are drug dealers, out of the water, I got bigger fish to fry. So,
okay,
but I admit that if we were to break it down into, a principal discussion on what we have internationally as a right to, where we have a right to extend ourselves internationally, probably on the definition of it, I would say that we could have some problems. I also think that we need to be the guy with the baseball bat.
Okay, so let's think in terms of conservative thought and go back to Edmund Burke, right? The founder, basically, of the idea of prudence, I think is what he called it, that you need to be exercising. So he advocated caution in policy change and all change. And you look at a Russell Kirk or William F. Buckley Jr. and think about the originalism of Antonin Scalia, right? And think about what the Constitution authorizes. Think about how the war on drugs is so bad that William F. Buckley, the patron saint of conservatism, if there ever was one, called for it to end, right? Trump had, on one hand, is pardoning people who were in jail for drug charges.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Article 1, Section 8 clearly sets forth who gets to declare war, who gets to decide when we go to war. The president is the commander-in-chief. When you go and take out an enemy leader, that's an act of war under any definition. And I chase this thing down to the definitions of war given under Samuel Johnson, whose dictionary would be the one the founders were looking at, the meaning of war during the founding generation. So Trump clearly violates the Constitution there. I mean, people might want to debate, and that's fine.
The going to war, and I forgot what they call his flexibility in that. The War Powers Act, right? Going to war, in freelancing war from the executive, from the White House, though certainly unconstitutional, I would agree, is nothing new.
But the argument was Trump was. You see, this is what happens. Just look at what happened to you, Tom.
Yes.
Right. And I mean, I've known you now for, I don't know, 5 years, and I've liked you the whole time, right? You've always been good to me, met you in person, you were good to me. But just look at what's happened. It starts off with Trump's going to get rid of the establishment. Trump's going to be new, to defending Trump based on, but everybody's always done it. Okay, that's true. They have. I thought Trump's new. I thought he's different.
But
then we're going to defend him based on what everybody's always done.
So I want to tell you something that makes this unique is that it is not easy. Like there's a lot I cannot defend. Like I am fine with the fishing boats blowing up fishing boats. I was not as fine with Obama droning people. Both of them are murder, as far as I'm concerned. One uses the CIA, so somehow it gets a free pass. But we're a country that goes.
He didn't get a free pass for me, by the way.
Right, and he didn't get a free pass for me back then either. But I part of my faith in the system and consistencies is just simply gone from just watching too closely for too long. But I don't. So what I'm saying is, it's easy to be a MAGA person, but I'm not a MAGA person. I'm a guy who doesn't go crazy over Trump and think he's done some good things. So it's not easy because I have to look you in the eyes and say, yes, my guy is wrong on this. Like, there's no way I can look you in the eyes and say for Trump to destroy, he's going to destroy the Iranian civilization was okay. It's not okay. It's effing crazy and unhelpful, as a matter of fact. And go after Rob Reiner, and and when you talk about the immigration stuff, I love that we were doing with the immigration stuff. I felt that there needed to be a crackdown in these cities where the local law enforcement was being either used against ICE or was being held back, and these local wacko politicians were fighting our federal officers. And my feeling was, okay, fine, go in there and do it. I did not at the same time need Kristi Noem dressed like G.I. Jane on a four-wheeler, acting like an a-hole, just undermining the whole messaging, the whole thing. So it's not been easy. Like, this is not an easy place to be.
No.
But at the same time, I still love George W. Bush, and I take more shit for that than anything. But what I'm saying is that let me ask you this: when you say that, like, people have gone step by step, have accepted things for Trump. What did you say? Intermittently? How do you?
I don't know if I used a word, but
you did. But like slowly, it's been ratcheted up slowly, so we don't realize what we support. We would never support this. It was just given to us, like in this snapshot of 2026. But since it happened a little by little, that it was easier to do. I think the other factor here is that the other side is effing crazy.
That's true.
So, like, okay, my guy is wild, and if it were 1996, I would not want him to be the president, but it's 2026 where we butcher young kids because we're gender ideology bullshit. And, like, the opposition is absolutely effing crazy. They're delusional. And so if this is a guy with the balls to do it, then this is the guy with the balls to do it. What do you say about that position?
What I say is that it's the complete throwing out of all principle. I have a good friend of mine, a philosophy professor, Andy Bernstein, who hates the left so bad that he ends up supporting Trump.
Yeah.
Now, there were a lot of people who adhere to the same philosophy I do, objectivism, the philosophy of Ayn Rand, who have been excoriating him for a long time, criticized me for maintaining my friendship with him. That's how much they hate Trump, right? Some of these people have referred to Trump as Hitler, referred to ICE as the Gestapo.
Yep.
Now, that's 2 months ago. Now, flash forward to Iran. They hate Iran the way that Andy Bernstein hates the left. Some of these people have accused me of wanting Iran to win the war because I opposed it because it's unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
They support the war all in, say the Constitution, it's flawed. You got to go to war. This is the time to take out Iran. So I pointed out to them, well, in addition to the constitutional issues, the guy that you've previously referred to as Hitler is the guy running it, right? The guy who we all agreed is a moral reprobate. Mm-hmm. The guy we all agreed is not all there upstairs, not a great decision maker, too eager to make a deal. And I've been excoriated for criticizing the war in Iran because they hate Iran that much. So intellectual consistency comes with a price at times.
Yes.
But ultimately, I need to be able to know, and when I talk to people, they need to be able to know, from my perspective, that I'm going to tell them the truth as I see it. That I will take heat, I will take criticism. For God's sake, I was in prison and put myself at odds against damn near the entire population and the staff, knowing it could get me seriously hurt, because the truth matters. My character matters. So when it comes to something like immigration, I disagree with you and I disagree with Trump, but you agree with them on immigration. So why not just say, I agree with Trump on immigration, but his ideas on tariff are terrible. He's still a terrible person. He's still not a good president.
Hey,
but
hold on.
You know
I
what?
want to address these that you're ticking off here.
Go ahead.
I agree on tariffs. I don't understand. He's in love with tariffs. I don't understand. I don't know that he's a terrible person. I've been told that now for 15 years. I've talked to his daughter, Ivanka. I've talked to his two sons. They seem to be wonderful people just by talking to them. I don't know, really. A lot of people love Trump. A lot of people say that he's like a really sensitive, thoughtful guy. He reached out to Robert Kraft when his wife died and never stopped calling and checking on people. He's an odd guy. He seems like an a-hole, and a New York a-hole, I'm that kind of person I'm familiar with. A lot of the time. But a lot of the people who have told me what a terrible person he is, I think have themselves been exposed as having some questionable character. So,
want me to make the case?
Sure.
Okay, first of all, he cheated on Ivanka. He cheated on
Ivana.
Ivana, yeah, not Ivanka.
Mm-hmm.
He cheated on Ivana. He cheated on Marla Maples.
Mm-hmm. He's a man.
So he's not even faithful. Now, I remember...
He's a guy, Michael.
Huh?
He's a guy.
Well, how come when it was Bill Clinton, it wasn't he was a guy? Then it was from conservatives. Well, he couldn't keep his word, the most important word he ever gave to the woman he loved, and he cheated on her. What do you think he's going to do to you? That's what conservatives used to say, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, when it was Clinton. Okay,
well,
so there you go.
He also lied under oath, but also conservatives were very angry at him for winning the election.
Yeah, okay. But now, to me, you make a commitment to a woman,
mm-hmm.
then you divorce her before you go screwing around.
I agree on the merits of that. I think that is right. But, guys being dogs is nothing new.
Again, but if they're doing that, I question their character. Okay. Now, all along he said he opposed the Iraq war. He's on Howard Stern
mm-hmm.
supporting the Iraq war.
Yes.
I've heard him multiple times sexualize his daughter and allow other men to refer to his daughter as a piece of ass.
Oh, that's the Howard Stern stuff. He goes in a room to win the room.
I don't care what it is, Tom. Is that a person of good character?
I don't know what you're supposed to do in the Howard Stern show other than make the Stern audience happy.
You don't go on the Howard Stern show.
He does, but also, let's say, okay, let's say that he's banging everything
Tom,
that he can.
Simple question for you.
Yes.
You're on the Howard Stern show. You're on my show. You're on any show in the world. You're a parent. Someone says to you, can I refer to your daughter as a piece of ass? What do you say?
No, I am not. I'm not part of that situation. I would not have been part of that situation.
Freaking way.
Of course,
you're doing that.
Yeah, but that said, so far you've called him a liar, reprobate, and immoral. Okay, that's fine. So now he fits in well with about 3/4 of the presidents we've had.
Okay, they're scumbags too. I wouldn't call them good people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I just kind of think that,
I mean, but I could go more. That's just.
Go ahead.
I mean, I've had serious debates with this. He bragged also on the Howard Stern show about making excuses to enter women's dressing rooms at beauty pageants.
Yes, that's what you say on the Howard Stern show, because it's a sexualized show about naked chicks.
It's a scummy thing to do.
Well, he was doing the best thing for his brand at that moment. And
I don't care. It's still scummy.
Maybe it's scummy, but it's entertainment.
But it's still scummy. Okay, let's count the lies that he's told now in relation to politics. At first, he said Ted Cruz was okay to run for president. It didn't matter that he was born outside the country. Then, when Cruz started catching up to him, he switched and said, no, it's not okay for Ted Cruz to run for president.
Yes.
He was born outside the country.
Mm-hmm.
Then it turned to lying Ted. We retweeted or whatever smears of Cruz's father, smears of Cruz's wife.
Are you going to sit here and tell me, man to man, that Ted Cruz's father did not shoot and kill Kennedy?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that. Yeah. Okay. So there's that. He also said that he saw thousands of Arabs in New Jersey celebrating after 9/11.
First of all, they were celebrating in New Jersey after 9/11. I remember seeing that news story when it happened. I don't think there were thousands of anything.
Pull it up.
I'll find it.
Pull it up.
There is a news story out there.
People have showed me the images of people in the Palestinian territories.
No, that was happening too. But there is a CBS or something.
There were never thousands.
There was never
Arabs.
thousands. No, there was never thousands of Muslims. Gathered in any corner of New Jersey. I don't think in those days.
Probably not. No. Okay, so he lies about that.
But then again, remember, that now makes him a politician. He's a flim-flammer, but he does his flim-flam a little different than Mitt Romney does. Mitt Romney also uses a flim-flam.
All right. I thought Mitt Romney was a smarmy son of a bitch, too, and I wasn't out there defending his character.
Well, okay.
Notice Tom.
But he's considered a moral pillar.
Tom, not to me. In the scope of this discussion, you started off with, from what I understand, Trump is actually a good guy he's just a politician.
Well,
do you see how it happened?
Well, I said I'm not accepting the contention that he's a dirtbag because I can't trust
what
anybody.
What about saying he never heard of David Duke, and then they've got him on tape talking about David Duke, saying David Duke's a scumbag?
Yeah, he lied.
Yeah. So if I say he's a liar, how many lies does he have to tell?
He told every lie and made every adjustment that it took, starting with what did we first talk about?
What about his crowd size? Lied about that.
Absolutely he does. He does. He's all hyperbole and flim-flam when he says this stuff. Absolutely. We're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. That was never going to happen. But the fact that he said it told you that at least he cared about a wall.
No, it said that at least he cares about catering to an audience.
Sure. That's what you have to do to win. I think he saw that the biggest whore wins, and he said, okay, I can do that.
Then why keep lying as president?
I think it's situational. I think that...
Okay, but then don't tell me he's not a liar.
I didn't say he wasn't a liar.
At the beginning of this, I said he's a liar. You said he's a good guy.
No, I said that I don't buy the contention that he's a dirtbag, that this consensus. I don't know if he's a good guy. He might be a good guy. His kids came off very well to me.
Well, I disagree with that, and I don't even know how that's relevant. I mean, people have made that argument to me, too. But Don Jr. lies constantly on his Twitter page. Eric Trump retweeted numbers from Biden's presidency about a drop in fentanyl deaths and gave his father credit.
Either he was wrong or lying. I don't know.
Right. I mean, but
where's the angel that you're expecting to be in this game?
Well, I'll tell you what, they will never arrive if we just defend every politician who happens to be on our team. If all we're going to do is take the guy that's on our team and defend him, even though we criticize the previous guy for doing the same thing.
Well, first of all, I'm not defending this guy in many ways. Like I said, the tariffs are freaking terrible. His messaging and communication are like awful. Effing with Canada for no reason makes no sense. Threatening Greenland was a big waste of time. There's a lot of stuff that this guy does that absolutely is no good. So I don't accept that I'm one of these people.
No, I'm not saying you are. That wasn't the point.
I am admitting that my my political allegiance here, or my political partner who I'm propping up, is a whore. I am admitting that. So
okay.
I'm
still why push back on me, Tom?
I'm still bringing her to dinner with the family, but telling the family when she gets up to go to the bathroom, I understand she's a whore. Everybody work with me.
Okay, but you pushed back on me when I said he was a no good person, and people defend him as a person.
Well, because you want me to accept the contention, and I'm not going to. I just said, like with the 2020 election, people are like, did Trump win or lose the 2020 election? And I don't know. I think he probably lost it, but I don't know. I didn't count the ballots, and if there was ever a time that the left would have tried to steal it, it would have been 2020. So I don't know.
60 court cases, Tom.
I understand there's 60 court cases.
Numerous investigations.
I understand, but have you noticed that everybody stopped? First of all, I'm not a 2,000 Mules guy. I'm not deeply invested in this election. I think Trump probably lost the election because of the handling of COVID and a lot of other stuff. But I can't certify the results myself. I don't know who wins what election personally.
But when do you ever require that? When do you ever say that? In all elections, you say, I don't know who actually won the election?
Well, people ask me about the 2020 election because it's some kind of test as whether or not
Who won the 2016 election?
Trump won.
How come you didn't say, I don't know?
Because I think that they would have stole it if they.
But hold on, but you didn't. But you didn't certify
the
the election.
I don't know if he won the 2016 election. I was thrilled with the results.
Who won 2012? We don't know who wins any election then.
Right, we don't know.
We never know.
Correct.
But yeah, you're pushed into that now because of what you said.
No, hold on. You know that there is election fraud that happens. So it's usually Democrat on Democrat election fraud. It's usually city elections. So it does happen. You're in Connecticut, for God's sakes. Just look at what's happened there with Wanda.
If I'm to accept what the evidence says, then yes, election fraud takes place in every election, but the same people that attest to that say it's not enough to actually turn the election. So I'm not going to just accept the part of it that would support my conclusion. Right? I could say I don't believe any of it and no, there's no election fraud, but that's not what the evidence says. But then if I'm going to accept that, I'm going to also accept when they say that no, it's not enough. And plus, 60 plus court cases, numerous investigations. There's a good paper out there called Lost Not Stolen by all conservative jurists.
Yeah, but one of the problems with this is that there's been too much information put out there from the left and from people who hate Trump that has also been false. Like to say that Trump called up Georgia and said, find me 2,000 votes, that's not what he said. He said, there's 2,000 votes out there already, just make them official. And
that's not what he said.
When Jake Tapper tells me...
He didn't say what you just said.
Yes, he did. And when Jake Tapper said...
He said, I need you to find me votes. I know what he said.
I know, but he said in the context of the votes that were already there. He didn't say...
That's not what he said.
It was just like when he said Russia find Hillary's emails. The emails had already been hacked.
But that's true. But in the case of what you just said, in the case of Georgia, he did not say the votes are already there, go get them. That's not what he said.
Yes, I believe it is.
I'm going to pull it up, Tom.
Okay. Well, let's move from that. Anyway.
Okay, we'll move on. The audience
and that's a small thing. I'm just saying that,
I know, but look, I agree with you on this. The left sucks. They're horrible. Their policies are horrible. I also agree with you. Politicians, generally speaking, with a few exceptions, suck. They're scumbags and liars. I agree with that. But then don't tell me Trump is different. Because he's not.
Well, that's my point in saying he's not.
No,
because it's the people who hate Trump who are saying, this is a once-in-a-lifetime despot that we have. And I'm like, no, he's like the last guy, except he doesn't do it in a Washington, D.C. friendly way.
But you know what is unique about Trump? And it was similar with Obama, right? Not Biden. Biden's a schmuck. Obama had a blind following of people that defended him, no matter what. And so does Trump. That's what makes it dangerous.
I think that's true. I think that they're absolutely, and I think that he became a sainted person for many people when they shot at him, and
they were defending him blindly before that.
Oh, I know, but I think it was reinforced. I think it was hardened, and the judicial branch, not the judicial, but the attorneys general went after the guy. Went after his businesses. Like, they got to have the city of New York gets to have all his businesses now. It's like a bunch of horseshit stuff. And they contrived the rape stuff. And, like, there was way too much of F around going on that side. And that's why I say before that one of the reasons why it seems like I'm glazing Trump so much is because at the same time he's doing Trumpy stuff, some of which is weird, odd, fucked up, and, like, unacceptable. They're doing worse stuff than that. So
I've never had an issue from the get-go with somebody who says, you know what, the options all suck, I'm going to vote for Trump.
Yeah.
I've got family and friends who did that. That's fine. MAGA, I have a problem with. Voting for the lesser of two evils, I didn't do it, but I understand it's a tough choice. And I understand, look, a lot of that stuff in New York with Letitia James, they went after Trump. Those cases were bullshit. I agree. I also think that the stolen document stuff was legit and serious.
Well, but it's got to be legit and serious for Biden too. Then why just Trump? And
for Hillary too with the emails.
The whole thing. Disagree. These institutions are rotted. So now it just makes it's hard to have anything to hold on to anymore. You know, which is probably why you're on the USS Constitution. And that's like all that's left.
No, I don't disagree with you there, Tom. There's a lot of screwed up things, and it makes it very difficult, and it's hard. But the thing to do is to hold on to the grasp of reality and to identify the truth of things.
When you say MAGA, you have a problem with, what is like MAGA are people who are just adherents to Donald Trump's policies, right? Or more romantically attached to.
I say it's the cult of personality. It's the people that are that defend Trump no matter what. Gunther Eagleman comes to mind. I don't know if you know who he is even.
This rings a bell.
He's one of these Twitter guys. Cat Turd is another one.
Yeah.
They just defend him no matter what. Those types of people that no matter what he does, defend him. That's what I mean by MAGA.
Yeah, no, I know
people that he said himself he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'd still support him. Those people.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I do. And there's a certain, when they get into their rah-rah FU mode, like memeing and things, I'm like, okay, is this simply a Twitter energy happening here, in a bro club happening here? And I'm not part of that. I don't think it's very helpful a lot of the times. If you're ever going to get normies back, because, they don't want to be in the same room with the red hat, frog people. They don't want to. And also, here's the other problem, is that we've now got, like, the Nick Fuentes, the Groyper parts of this, the idiots, like, who's that idiot comedian who you've gone back and forth with? Dave Smith?
Dave Smith,
yeah. It's like, so there's all sorts of different factions now, and that's another thing. Like, talk about the horseshoe theory. Like, everybody's on everybody's side now. Like, everything is so confused. You've been essentially saying this. Like, okay, so you're somebody, I'm somebody who likes Trump, but I still like Israel. So for me, I'm an Israel guy. That puts me out of favor now with most Republicans, and certainly with most Democrats. And I'm for bombing Iran, and I like George W. Bush, and I believed in the first Iraq war, the Iraq war, and like everything's so splintered and fractured. Where does everything settle then? Like, so what are the two ideologies? Is there ever going to do we ever go back to conservatives are smaller government and heavy on defense, and liberals are bigger centralized government?
I don't think so.
And then you've got you people in the middle who just like the Constitution and
I'm not in the middle of anything.
No, I understand, but what I'm saying is you're definitionally
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Or is it just do we just go on with this just being team politics? Red Sox, Yankees, and nobody cares if the Red Sox hire 4 ex-felon pedophiles as long as they hit 50 home runs a year? And the same with the Yankees?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And, I will put a lot of the blame for it, quite frankly, on Democrats. When you are accusing Republicans of being racist because of a principled stance on affirmative action and welfare, or you're saying that, John McCain wants to wheel grandma off a cliff, or it was
Yes.
Romney, I don't remember which one, when every single thing is racist, identity politics, you create an environment that pisses people off. They get tired of being told they're racist, that they're hateful or whatever.
Yep.
And then you end up with Trump. I'll never forget, as long as I live, how Joe Biden conducted himself in his first debate with Paul Ryan, with his only debate.
Same here. He was an asshole.
Kept interrupting him, was rude, was a real jerk.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for him for how Trump treated him in the debate. And I think Trump's a scumbag.
Yep.
But I'm not going to feel bad for Biden, not after what I saw him do with Paul Ryan.
Right.
No way.
Yeah, well, isn't that the impetus for all of this stuff? Is it, Paul Ryan, it seems to me, Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney are as decent a person as you're going to get in elected office. And they were brutalized by these malevolent forces in the media and in Democratic politics.
Absolutely.
And it's like, okay, guys, hope you're happy you did that, because we're now constructing a megathon Thosaurus named Trump, who's impervious to that horse. And here he is. And so, that's what Trump's a reaction, and so is
sure.
So is Graham Plattner. These people are a reaction. It's just here's our new guy to give the middle finger to the opposition down in Washington. Like. Oh, can we admit that Chris Murphy is the biggest dink in freaking the Senate?
It's from my hometown.
Well, I'm sorry about that. That's tell a trolley tour to skip his ill-gotten gain.
I don't know him personally, but I've never, from the moment he came on the scene, he ran against, I want to say, Nancy Johnson. Did he run against? I think, and I never liked him.
All right. Hey, Michael, I appreciate this conversation. I never get to have this kind of conversation.
Sir.
I appreciate it. All right. So where are we subscribing to your YouTube?
Okay. I have my own podcast, which is the Rational Egoist podcast. On that podcast, I do interviews. I sometimes have debates, and I address ideas. I also have a channel called The Rational Alternative. On that channel, we have 4 shows. We have The Capitalist Corner, which is Mark Pellegrino and I host every day. That's current events from a capitalist perspective, 12 to 1 Eastern time. That streams on YouTube, on Twitch, and on X. 2:30 Eastern time every day. I host with my producer, Persephone. We do Everyday Ethics, where we discuss everyday ethical situations that people come in. 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 3:15 Eastern Time, we do Crime, Corrections, and Culture, where we discuss issues pertaining to the criminal justice system. And then Saturday, we don't have a time yet, but we do Capitalist Corner Weekend, where we have a more philosophical discussion that's pro-capitalist.
Jesus, you are a busy bastard. Well done, man.
Incredibly.
That's great. Well, I appreciate it. His name is Michael Liebowitz. He is a good guy. We have disagreements, but it's always great talking to you, my friend.
Yeah, Tom, can I just say one thing real quick? I think people need to learn, to get back to learning that disagreeing with somebody politically doesn't mean you have to hate the person.
No kidding. God.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the thing with social media and stuff. You can just mix it up with people. It's freaking fun. And I don't know about you, but like when I used to go to bars, people would say, "Don't talk about politics or religion," and I would always be like, "Why? That's so fun."
Yes. I don't have to hate you. We can disagree. It's okay.
Totally agreed. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so no, that was the guy to the right is Michael Liebowitz. If you're looking at the video, Splash says that was such a lily white, bleep head, cuckolded, fancy Republican take. I figured it was Michael Graham. It is not Michael Graham. Michael Liebowitz is not a Republican. He is we'll call him a Libertarian. It's a little more complicated than that. But yeah, there you go. I love talking to him. He's a good guy. Good guy. And I would do it more. And actually, he's like listening back right now. It's a guy who just got out of jail like 3 years ago. And he's a good broadcaster. Do you notice that he never stepped on me? And when I stepped on him, he'd just stop and let me talk. And then it's like his mechanics are very good. All right, let's go to the chat, shall we? Tomorrow I may have a guy from radio on, who I used to know, who used to be in radio, who survived a very funny chapter in Boston radio history where an entire FM station was liquidated and instead run by robots, really. And he was part of that station, but it's some good stuff. Some good stuff. Hopefully he'll join us. His name, you may know him, Anthony Piccarello. He used to be on Star 93.7, probably Kiss 108, and all those others too. Let's go to the chat.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Tom Thomason here.
Hey.
Hey, I hate to admit that my senator, Chris Murphy, is the worst senator we have.
So, as you could tell, I just mentioned that. He's the biggest dirtbag, piece of crap, prostitute, lightweight, pansy, panty waist, disgraceful scum in the Senate. That is correct.
By far, he's the worst.
Yep.
Censoring him, throwing him out, that would make him happy, make him famous in his mind. I say the only thing that should be done to him, he should be tried for treason and hanged. I'm sure you agree. 36.
I'd be fine with it. He's an absolute dirtbag. He's not going to be president. Nobody gives a crap about him. He's a nerd. He's impotent. He can go to hell.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Tom, I am mystified as to why Alice's sister and brother-in-law want to move from Virginia to Massachusetts. It's just fraught with peril.
Yes, I agree, Steve. They have family up here. So both of them have family in and around Massachusetts. So that's why they're doing it. You're correct.
If they have the means, you said she's a lawyer, he's in sales. If they have the means, why wouldn't you encourage them to go across the border and try like Windham, New Hampshire, or Bedford, New Hampshire,
Rye,
or any one of those other towns that, while they are, might not exactly have the proximity to the city that they're looking for.
Yeah,
it makes up for a lot in peace of mind and quiet and non-craziness. Thank you.
Yeah, Steve, I totally agree with that, but they're, God, I don't know how old they are. They're probably in their early 30s, and they still have, and I understand this because Alice and I had it big time. We just kept getting priced out of places where we could get a big house, so that's why we ended up like way up looking at West Newbury. We would never have done it, but when we did, we both had a fear that like we felt like we were in a different solar system than Boston, and it was like a little bit. Really, it felt like a freaking Mars colony, especially the first nights like we were staying here. It was pitch black at night. I'm like, this is not like the city. The aura of Boston's not here anymore. And I was wondering, like, it was a little heartbreaking at first. I'm like, did we make a terrible mistake? And the person who convinced us to move up this area was VB, was Doug Gowdy. And he said, you'll never regret it. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. And yeah, that all went away, and I don't regret it now, and I like it up here. And I know Steve and Tommy and a lot of you guys know when you move out to the boonies, driving for 40 minutes to get somewhere doesn't feel like long anymore. It used to be, especially since if you drive from Melrose to Reading, it may take you 40 minutes. And so, your mind adapts and changes to these things, but I think they're still, they live in like a nice city right now, and they're young, and I think that I understand totally, because it's kind of lame to move from the big city, and they want to be in proximity to that stuff. It's fun, and they're young, and like he does stuff, like he does stand up here and there, and I know it's just it's not for everybody. Alice has tried to get everybody we've ever met to move up around here, but I get it. It's I agree with you, Steve. I will send your message to them. I will tell you that they will get this although they listen to the podcast anyway. But yeah, so that is where that is. Thanks everybody. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Hopefully I can talk to my friend Pick tomorrow. He's not political, so it's just different. But there's some radio stuff out there that was very, very funny, and he's a good guy. And he's on to all sorts of different things now. He's one of these guys that always had something going, always had something like a different project or a good hustle going. Good guy. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out.
C'est la vie.